What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Trick 10s. So I just got back from my Disney vacation and the funds are a little tight, so I need to get some money. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this motor on here. This is a 2004 Tracker 175 Protein. It's got a 50 Tracker Mercury 2-stroke engine on it. This thing is pretty heavy, so I brought it over to my dad's garage. I'm gonna use his crane lift to pull this thing off of here. Basically, the engine has a blown cylinder in it. That's the way the boat was purchased. A good buddy of mine bought this boat. He stole the thing. I think he paid $3 grand for the entire rig. It has a brand new aluminum I-beam trailer on it. It's probably worth $3 grand by itself. The only issue is this motor. He has a newer Suzuki 70 we're going to be replacing this one with. This one is probably going to be sold as a parts motor or to someone who is looking to rebuild it. I mean, I could keep it and part everything out on eBay and probably make 1,500 bucks off it, but more than likely I'm just going to dump it off to somebody for 400 or 500 bucks and let them do that. So first off, I want to say that I really do like these trackers. I mean, this one is a welded hull. The size of it's perfect. It's perfect for what I do fishing. I'm mainly a river fisherman. Fish the Elizabeth River, striper, drum, trout. I do a little bit of bass fishing, Bob's Fishing Hole, Northwest River, Lake Gaston, stuff like that. I have a 190 myself, which I love. But this 175 for this price, it's a steal. He got a great deal on this thing, and it's gonna be sick when it's all done. So I'm gonna go ahead and start removing this. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the steering cable, the power, the gas line, then I'm gonna hook it up to the crane, remove the bolts. We're gonna yank this thing off here. Let's get back to work. All right, so you see we disconnected our bracket here for the steering, and I'm gonna pull that through. Unfortunately, it's pretty tight in here the way it's stretched right now, so I'm gonna have to wait till I get the motor off of the boat to slide that out. And this is just a power cable, runs into the battery for the power tilt trim, electric start. I disconnected both of these wires. Just gonna fish these back out of here. Of course, they're tied up. Gets the power out of the way, and our gas line is right here. We just disconnected that. So this is our wiring harness. This big black one is for the wiring harness for the ignition and tilt and trim and everything up front and at the switch at the helm. And then these two are for your shifter and your throttle cable. We are going to have to remove them. I am going to take this entire shifter and throttle arm, the whole helm out, and I'm going to sell it with the motor because it's a good selling point, and it's not going to be compatible with the Suzuki motor he puts in there because they're different. So the Mercury and Suzuki are not interchangeable. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the cowling off, and then I'll show you how to disconnect these cables here. The motor is actually really clean inside of here. I mean, someone has serviced this thing. It's got new plugs and wires, and everything looks really clean inside of here. It's a shame that one of the cylinders is blown, but if someone wanted to rebuild it, I don't think it would be that crazy of a rebuild. I'm gonna go ahead and start taking these cables out of here. Sorry, my voice is a little jacked up. I'm feeling a little under the weather. Somebody zip tied this little clip here. Slide this back. Oh, that's because it's broken. Slide that out of the way. Then we're gonna get these disconnected right here. just has one nut here holding on. This top one. That's for your acceleration, your throttle, and this bottom one doesn't actually have a nut, it just has a quick release bracket, slides back. You can just fish these right out. Pretty simple. I'll bring this camera around to the other side. I'm going to show you this wiring harness. Okay, so this is the plug right here, and that just comes off of this black cable that runs up to the console. It looks like somebody has, it's got heat shrink on here, so this has been altered before. I don't know, maybe they had an issue and swapped this motor out or something, I'm not sure. We're gonna go ahead and take that out. Cut these zip ties off. It should just pop out. It comes apart. When you put these back together, you want to put some electric grease in here. It's got some on here. It definitely helps keep it from getting corroded. The rest of these are pretty simple. This is for the power tilt and trim. It's done. Push that back out. And that'll pull out the same rubber hole on the other side. All right, so now this motor, it's free, it's disconnected. Got our wiring harness here. Got our shifter and our throttle, power, the gas line. So the only thing holding this motor on the back of this boat are these 4 bolts here. These top 2 are gonna be pretty easy to get to because you can reach them from the splash well right here. The bottom 2, a little bit different story. You gotta get down inside where the gas tank is. I'm gonna go ahead and start loosening them up. All right, so the bottom bolts are removed. The only thing holding this thing on here is some glue and these top 2 bolts on either side. They're already loose. I didn't take them all the way out yet until I get a strap hooked on here. I did remove the top cover for the flywheel. It's right here. It's really simple. It's got these little thumb plastic nuts on it. And I was hoping that this one would have a lifting eye on top. It doesn't. I think you can screw one in here. I don't have one, but what I can do with that black plastic housing removed, I'm just gonna run a strap up underneath here to the top and squeeze it tight, and I should be able to pick it up that way. With that housing removed, I don't have to worry about it cracking or breaking. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that rigged up, take these bolts out of here, and then pull this thing off here. All right, so we got the motor off. It's on the stand. I built this stand a couple years ago because I did the same thing with a 4-stroke Mercury 90 that I had, and that 90 was a little bit heavier than this one. This thing could definitely hold probably up to a 600 horsepower motor. I mean, it's heavy duty. It's a nice little motor. It's got a nice stainless prop on it. It's clean. It's a shame that it's got low compression, but somebody will fix it up, especially the way the motor market is now with the availability and supply and demand. But let's get back to this boat now. So this is our steering. We left that in here. That's gonna stay. We are going to be removing both of these cables for the acceleration and the shifter. And I'm basically going to have to remove the side panel here, this side panel here, and then I should be able to access the controls right here. I'm gonna take this completely out, just fish everything out with it, the harness and everything, and that'll go with the motor. This is a nice little tracker. It's gonna be real sweet once it gets that 70 Suzuki on here. Let's get back to work. All right, so how you remove this throttle arm here, this bracket in the center here, you can pop it out, shoot a screwdriver. It's got a little groove in it. Bring it up, pull that out. They tell you to move this thing all the way to the forward position. I don't know if it really matters or not, but you can see how that came out of there. And this piece right here is a socket. A deep well socket in there. You can unscrew that. All right, so we got the motor off, everything's cleaned up, ready for the new motor to go on. Took the controls out, have the new Suzuki controls going in here. A little bit of a pain in the butt. It's gonna be sweet when it's all set up. The last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this old trolling motor, which it does work, but it's only a 43-pound thrust, and we're definitely gonna upgrade that to a 24 volt. I'll show you how to take this out. You gotta take this front piece out here. It's just a panel, and then you can reach up underneath there and take the bolts out. It's pretty simple. All right, so this one is done. Pretty simple. Motor removal, controls removal, and trolling motor removal. This sweet ass rig for $3 grand. Definitely nice. Definitely gonna be a sick fishing machine. This trolling motor has some huge holes up here. We're probably gonna end up replacing this deck with some turf or something, and definitely putting sandwiching some type of aluminum plate underneath of it when we mount the new trolling motor in here. The motor is actually getting put on by a buddy of mine, John Tiger, with Tiger Outboards. He's gonna tune it up and install the motor. Then it's gonna come back to me. I'm gonna do the Panoptic system, a couple Garmin graphs, and a Motor Guide Saltwater Edition trolling motor. This is probably gonna be mainly river fishing. Pretty sick the way they have this carbon fiber on the front. I love having the power tilt and trim up here. It makes it so nice when you're up here fishing and you get in the shallow water. All in all, definitely a sweet rig. Time for me to get back to work.